My first memories of hunting, period, happened to be waterfowl related, and was blessed enough to have a brother. And my recollection of the story, despite my mom's clear objections that this never happened, was he was 10, I was 8, and we would take my grandmother's car out to the rice fields in South Texas. And Ira and I would go out in the car, like just looking over the steering wheel type of thing, and shoot snow geese, without any decoys. That sparked a fire in both of us that's been there since then and has created a lifelong passion.
Well, I'm Ira.
We all had jobs and responsibilities, and one of Ira's when we lived in Charleston, South Carolina, was to rake the front yard. And we would all finish our jobs, and he'd be out there with a rake over his shoulders looking at the birds.
Be a good day to be a goose hunter. Better day to be a goose hunter than it is to be a dentist, for God's sakes.
We knew what the rent was every month, and we knew how many patients a day he had to see so that we could pay the rent. So I used to call him at lunchtime and ask him how many patients he had seen that day, because I think it was 10 patients. If he'd only seen one, it wasn't looking like a good day. Soon enough, the clinic took off, and we had always wanted to build our own clinic because we rented that space. And we'd been looking, and lo and behold, a piece of property that we'd made an offer on, I believe 5 to 10 years earlier, we were able to purchase and build the new clinic that we have now. And it's a beautiful space, and they love it, and it's done really well, and they've been in there a little bit over a year.
The first time I remember taking Ira hunting was he was about 4 years old. And after that, I never had a hunting buddy when the kids were growing up. It was always them and me. So if we fished, I went fishing, they went fishing. If I went hunting, they went hunting. And that was just the way it was.
Ira McCauley and my son Greg Sharan pledged the same fraternity at the University of Missouri their freshman year. It didn't take them long for each of them to know that they were both avid waterfowlers.
I invited Ira to come back to the bottoms in Missouri pretty much every single weekend that we were in college. We would go to the bottoms, especially during duck season and during deer season and turkey season.
And of course, Greg invited Ira to come up for opening day at our duck camp, the bottoms, up here near Sumner. Ira accepted the invitation and came, and I always say that was a day that changed his life. A very good friend of mine bought a farm on the east side of Locust Creek. He thought about selling it, and I immediately thought, man, this would be perfect for Ira.
So in the beginning, 4 partners had they all brought things to the table, even though we all had other jobs. Dan was farming full-time, Tony was selling insurance, Aaron and I were being veterinarians, and so we all brought some resources to the table, and Habitat Flats was able to capitalize on those. And so in the beginning, when it first started, we were all guiding and we were hunting on the piece of property that we bought, and we were using our other assets too. And man, it's just changed and become a totally different animal nowadays. I mean, we bought several other farms, and we have a lot of ducks that live on us, and we're fortunate to be able to bounce around. Shoot them a little bit here, shoot them a little bit there, let them live here, shoot them running traffic, and I've learned a lot through the years, and all I can say is we are definitely blessed with ducks and with friendships and relationships.
Man, me and my buddy Big Gun Bob found some ducks out here on the rib.
Ira McCauley. I first met Ira McCauley, went to a place called Four Rivers down there 20-some years ago. And I'm sitting in the poor man's line there. We both knew a guy at the time, Tim Myrtle. And there's Tim, so I walk over and start talking to Tim, and he introduces me to Ira. And later on down the road there, we started hooking up and started hunting more and more, throughout the year. And next thing you know, shit, we're hunting down there every weekend.
Ira. Where do I begin with this? Well, he moved to Higginsville straight out of vet school, and a buddy of ours said, I know a guy who likes to duck hunt too. And so I said, all right, what's his name? He said, Ira. So we made small talk, said, all right, let's go duck hunting. So we went to a place that I was a member of, Sunshine Lake. And
Grease again. Get you another one. Get that one. Nice shot, Mervs.
I met Ira through an old friend of mine named Mike Compton, who was good friends with a gentleman named Jeff Sharan. And Jeff would come hunting with us down on Truman. He'd tell us, he'd say, man, I got this young man, his name's Ira McCauley, and you guys are just alike. I need to introduce you. I probably heard that for 2 or 3 years. And then one day down there, we're hunting on the slot, and here come these yahoos out there in these little bitty boats. I mean, they weren't 10 foot long and didn't have 3 inches of draft. And they're standing up in them. And I thought, man, it's the craziest damn thing I ever saw in my life. What idiot would come out here in that? And Jeff looks over there and he says, well, I bet that's Ira.
How did I meet Ira McCauley? Now that's an interesting question. I had to think on that a minute. I feel like I've known him so long, I just have known him.
So when I first started working for Ira, I knew of him, and he's got some spots near my hometown, so I knew of him, and I knew of his operation, Habitat Flats, and I knew what they were doing, and I knew they killed a lot of ducks. And I didn't know much about Ira personally, but when I first started hunting with Ira, it didn't take me long to figure out that Ira's gonna kill ducks wherever you put him, wherever he goes. Sometimes it pains me to say this, but as a hunter, Ira's probably the best hunter, the best duck killer that I've ever had the opportunity to hunt with.
I've never met someone that's just as good at getting it done as he is, from hunting floodwater, hunting the river, being up in Canada in the dry fields.
Oh, he's got 2-1 shot.
Moist soil with MOmarsh products, hunting timber. There's no conditions, gray days, no wind, cloudy. I mean, he gets it done.
Yes, he's a duck hunter, but he's a man who's driven in the pursuit of waterfowl. It's the only way you can describe it. And it's not about the killing, it's about the hunt, the pursuit, and fooling them on their own terms. And him and I share that same passion.
He is good. Here's what I love about Ira, is that he's driven like very, very few people.
We got to go about a mile down in there towards those trees. Bunch of birds sitting back in there, so we'll see if we can get her done.
Ira's spent so much time, trying to hone his craft in and be able to get hid in a place where maybe you can't hid, but that's the challenge. And then he gets there and it's successful and it's like awesome. And then if it's not that awesome the next time, that's where my brother will be putting the little wheels in motion.
I've always said there's a difference between hunters and killers, and Ira's a killer. His gears are always turning, and you can bet if he gets beat one day, you can bet your ass he ain't gonna get beat the next.
Ira's a special kid. He's a doer. He's a thinker.
From the decoy side of things, his drive or desire to carve decoys had come from Jeff Sharan. We'd travel up to Chillicothe and spend a weekend up at the bottoms cutting out decoy blanks for stuff that we'd work on for the whole rest of the year.
We laugh at all the fun times and the hard ways that we did things and all the roads we traveled. Good God, we traveled a lot of places and worked hard at it. And Ira's definitely one that will always work at it. and he's a dreamer.
No matter the conditions, no matter what, if you look at his duck book in Sumner, at his duck log book at the farm, there's a comments section in the book. And it's always interesting to me to look and see on those comments that say the day, who was hunting, you know, what the conditions were. Say great day, no wind, you know, birds sure were tough. And I've been on a lot of those hunts, and it feels like you're beating your head against the wall. But then you look at your strap, or in this case, you look at the bird numbers in the book, and right there where it says mallards, it's 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 a lot of times. And it's just really a testament to how good a hunter Ira really is.
Ira McCauley is a duck hunter. Well, I'd have to say this, there's no way better. Might be some as good, but there's no way better.
We had a hunt this past year that, man, everything just clicked on. We was working together. There's an outdoor writer with us, and he just wrote this story, and I just recently read it. And as I read it, he picked up on the idea that we were buddies and working ducks together. Nobody thought about nothing. We just did it.
He's a pretty smart person, and you know, if you put a challenge in front of him, or you tell him that you know, there's no way you can kill ducks in this spot, just forget about it. I think he just has an uncanny ability to look at things differently, you know, look at things exactly how a duck would look at them.
I don't think anyone would be surprised to hear that Ira's a great dad. He honestly is more patient than I am, and he does a great job with the kids, and thank God he's able to help them with their math because it's way over my head.
To be able to see the interaction he has with his kids, and I'm very proud of that.
My dad is a very inspiring, kind, inspirational person, and he's a really good role model for me, and I hope I grow up to be like him.
Describe a memorable day with your dad.
Whenever I was in the duck blind with him and when I shot my first duck, he was very proud of me and I was very proud of myself.
One of the best dates I had with my dad was we got up before school real early and we went to our farm in Chesterfield. We called it City Farm, and we never heard a gobble from a turkey or anything. And we walking back to the truck and we saw this giant turkey, and I shot it. It's awesome, and he was the one who convinced me to stay and, you know, keep going on, and he's definitely taught me some life lessons like patience and persistence.
Ira, guess who this is? It's Big Daddy, and I'm in Sulphur, Louisiana, and I just got to thinking about you, and your mama is so proud of you.
I know Ira, Dan, from his fishing passion. Him and I would stay up 3-4 nights a week, fish all night long, catch speckled trout and redfish. It might be 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, my phone would ring and Ira would say, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm waiting on you, let's go." Ira's always had a passion for hunting, for life. He's a great guy, and I'm glad to know Ira's my friend.
I met Ira down here several years ago with a good friend of mine, Will Banks, and back then Habitat Flats was just getting started, and they were wanting to shoot a video, a snow goose video, and was looking for an extra cameraman, and I never really had the opportunity to thank him because that video right there, it opened all kinds of doors for me. It's allowed me to travel all over the world and film hunts that I normally wouldn't have the opportunity to do, and I've always had people write me messages or whatever asking, you know, how do you get to do this? How do you get to do that? And I always said it was because of that video right there. So I just wanted to thank you.
Man, Ira, I just want to say thank you. So I want to thank you for being the role model that you've been for me. Just to see the way that you're able to not only maintain the successful businesses that you run, but also be such a good husband and such a good father to your sons, as well as being such a great duck hunter. It's awesome to see. It gives me a great, just someone to look up to, a great role model. And I know one thing, I wouldn't be half or a quarter of the duck hunter I am today if it wasn't for you taking the time out to show me things and give me the opportunities to go hunt with you. So thank you very much, man.
Ira, thank you so much for not only allowing me to work for you, but for allowing me some of the most unbelievable hunting experiences and allowing me to see some of the most incredible things in a hunting environment that I've ever seen in my entire life. And congratulations on an incredible career. Congratulations on being an overwhelming success, and thank you.
If it hadn't been for Ira, I wouldn't have met some of my best friends today. Big Gun Bob, Tim, his brother Ron, and a whole host of other gentlemen. And I would never learned how to hunt the river, the Missouri River, and many other rivers that I've been on since then. This is more of a tribute to a great guy, great husband, great entrepreneur, and a great duck hunter.
One time I had an accident, and I've never told too many people this, but I had a battery blow up in my face, and I couldn't see for a day. And that night I laid in bed, and I'm like, if I don't get my vision back, one, I don't get to work, but two, I won't get to see ducks come in. And I said, I laid there, I'm like, if there's one person I can hunt with that I'll know, even if I close my eyes and I was blind, who could I hunt with and probably still kill something? And it was Ira, because I could pretty much tell you when the ducks are ready to shoot or anything by his cadence.
I want to tell you, Ira McCauley, thanks for all the memories and all the memories that we're going to make. And thanks for being my best friend.
I'd like to say that it's been a great ride. While he may think I've imparted quite a lot to him from my experience, I would say that it has been very mutual. I feel like having known Ira, I've benefited. I've seen his tremendous energy and passion level, and it's just been a very enjoyable time.
I love you, and you're a great father.
I'm very proud of him, and love him very much.
Man, I'm so proud to call you my brother. You are one of a kind, man. Your ingenuity, your drive, your friendship as my brother, but also as partner over the many, many years in terms of our businesses, and just, man, it is what it is. Looking forward to a lot more years with you.
I love you, Ira. God bless you.
Oh, it's about ankle deep.
Got up on that one.
What would I say about Ira? Well, first thing is, I'd say, Ira, you still owe me that band you stole from me about 20 some years ago on the river. That's a story for Ira McCauley 2.0. I'd say you still owe me the locks you cut off my trailer. And always carry some spare gas in your duck boat.